Finding Distance, a film with a lot of heart to it, a really empathetic approach throughout, and almost a peacefulness as well. Um, with the scenes melding together, I thought great transitions, honest writing, and honest performances. They tackled some really difficult issues at the prime coming of age time where you are fending off judgment and bullying and trying to pave a path for yourself. And that usually requires understanding where you come from and who you decide to have in your life. Um, Great sound score, great soundtrack throughout. I thought it really matched the mood and the tone of the piece, and just a really, really lovely film.
Finding the Distance was a good, emotional story. Um, the vibes of like working your way through grief and, toxic relationships with like your family or whatever because of that grief and all of that. And not communicating and all of that, and then working your way through that through like a sport like fencing. I think that narrative archetype is really strong, and I always like it, and I liked it here, and it was executed well here. And yeah, I was really rooting for Ali slash Alex, and yeah, it was really well told, really well acted. That actress that played Alex is a star. I feel like for sure, everybody did great. She's a star. Um, yeah, overall, really well done. Good job.
Finding Distance is very coming of age story where you have the misunderstood girl in high school that doesn't fit in with the popular girls, tried and true story. And we see that she isn't doing well in school. She's getting in fights. She's on the verge of expulsion. And she needs to find an activity that she likes. And, I didn't gauge right away why she's being teased, even though the jokes do spell it out. It isn't until we see the reveal of her only having one hand when she gets interested in fencing is when a lot of the beginning starts to kind of, oh, wow, this is why, and how cruel are the kids and stuff like that. So she's intrigued with this fencing, but her dad thinks it's too dangerous because she, only does have one hand, but she needs to find a place to place her excess energy. And, she only needs one hand for fencing. And you see her start to blossom. She finds a friend circle. She finds a place where she feels like she belongs, but her father cannot see that. And sometimes it reminds us, something like this will remind us that, you know, uh, your children need more than just you to feed and clothe and shelter them. Sometimes they need to feel like they can go to you and as emotional support. And that was what was lacking in their relationship, or he refused to open himself up to that, maybe because he had his own hurt in association with raising the daughter after her mother passes fairly early on in her life. But they find a way to connect beautifully once they actually talk about the mother. And then you leave this feeling like, okay, this relationship is going to blossom even more. And it's beautiful to see.
This was a really touching piece. Overall, really well written and produced. Great direction and cinematography. That just felt very on brand for the genre. And they do a really great job at handling the subject matter very delicately and thoughtfully, but also felt very real and authentic. So it was a great balancing act there. Overall, I was really pleased with this one. It was enjoyable and again touching. Just really smartly made film. So my hats off to everyone involved. This is a really strong piece.
So I just watched the film Finding Distance. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was sweet and emotional and thoughtful. Um, One thing that really struck me about the film was its production value. It has very high production value. There's just a lot of actors and very high quality acting as well, and lots of different locations and great cinematography. Yeah, just very high production value. I thought the storytelling was great here. It's a fast moving plot. I really liked that it was character driven, and it really manages to pull you in from an emotional standpoint. Um, I thought the characters were really likable. this film is so just compassionate and empathetic to its characters. And yeah, overall, I thought this film was uplifting and heartwarming and hopeful. Great job to the filmmakers.
Finding Distance. I really enjoyed this film. I mean, right from the beginning, they opened it so strong. You knew exactly what the relationships were, you knew what was happening, so you were on board from the minute this film started, and I love that. I thought that all of the actors were sensational. They did such a great job. Everybody was very believable in their roles. I loved this. I loved the music that they chose for it. I have to say that it was beautifully shot. The way that the filmmakers and the director of photography shot this, they did such an incredible job, and how they transitioned from scene to scene was just so fluid and so lovely. The story for this, it was there. It was very touching. It was very heartwarming. It was all there for me. I just thought that this was great.
Finding Distance was a great film about the relationship between a father and daughter, and the theme came through really well in this. You know, the relationship growth that you see between the father and daughter, and that character work there. Just seeing how much the dad wants to protect his daughter because he loves her, and just realizing that by doing so, he's actually preventing her from living her best life, from finding her friends and passions, and having that, you know, clearly loving relationship on both sides, seeing how it can go wrong and then how it can go right again. The acting in this film is really good. I thought that the emotional moments played out really well, you know, when she's having that talk with her father, is a real tearjerker. Like, you can feel the emotions in the room, and their love for each other, and I thought that played out very well. I like the themes of, you know, the importance of finding something you're passionate about and something that you love to work hard at in life, and the importance of found family versus your real family, you know, finding that group of people outside of your family that, you know, relate to you and support you. So seeing that was really cool as well. And also the way this is shot, you know, I really enjoyed those fencing scenes. It was clear whoever shot this had an appreciation for the sport, and that comes through with these scenes of them fencing. I thought it was beautifully shot. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film.